Well, good evening, and thank you for joining us for our Theater Alumni Career Panel. My name is Thea Serio. I'm the Director of Career Planning and Internships. I am joined by Jennifer Shatanian, Director of Alumni Relations, and by Daniel Kozar, Program Coordinator of Theater, Assistant Professor of Theater, and Costume Designer in Residence. Daniel will be moderating today's panel. Daniel has been with Dean for more than 20 years, during which he has had the opportunity to mentor many students with the desire to pursue a career in theater. Today, we have 6 alumni on our panel: Tyler Jahumpa, Colin Mackey, Rachel Ladd, Griffin Kopp, Kelly Robertson, and Ryan Lopresti. They've all graduated from Dean and have pursued their careers in the field of theater. Today, we will talk to them about their time at Dean as Dean students, their career journey since graduating, and their current career goals. I'd like to thank you all for being with us. It means so much to our students and alumni to have the opportunity to hear directly from our graduates about their real world career experiences. We'll begin by asking each of you to take a minute to introduce yourself, tell us about your time at Dean, your graduation year, and any hands-on experiences you had while at Dean. Also share your first position post-graduation, and if you've moved on from that position, let us know what you're doing now. Tyler, start with you.
Hello. My name is Tyler Jahumpa. I graduated in the class of 2017. I graduated with a theater BA with a concentration in tech theater. And as for what I'm doing now, I'm a freelance actor, performer, storyteller, and technician. So doing a little bit of everything, and yeah.
Awesome, as you do, right? Griffin, we're gonna move to you.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Griffin Kopp. Graduated in 2015. I also got a BA in theater at Dean College. And man, I've done like a myriad of things. You know, I'm sure it's like a lot of people here have after graduating, just trying to find work, from working like story work in an escape room to doing technical theater stuff and construction. You know, currently on top of the other theater stuff I do, I work at Quinnipiac University here in Connecticut in the med school, helping educate the med students.
Awesome. Thanks. Rachel.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Ladd. I graduated at Dean in 2013 with my BA in theater. I think I did like the old school route of once I graduated where I got into like food service and retail so I could make time for auditions and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I've kept myself busy ever since I graduated. I do freelance acting. So I've done tours, I've done feature films, mostly theater. So yeah, just filling my time with that.
Awesome, thank you. Ryan.
Hello, my name is Ryan Lopresti. I graduated from Dean in 2018. I was a technical theater student. After graduating, I did a whole lot of freelancing. I did a lot of stuff in and around Boston. I've been lucky enough that right before the whole pandemic, I got a full-time job as the technical director of the Stockbridge Theater. And I've been able to hold on to that throughout this whole thing. So I am still currently full-time there. Although I just got a job offer back at the Ogunquit Playhouse where I was working in 2019, and I will be returning there for this summer season, which is pretty exciting.
Very good.
That's awesome. Colin.
Hi, everybody. My name is Colin Mackey. I graduated a decade ago in 2012. I was a theater major. I switched between regular theater to musical theater, and then was part of the first class that we developed with the bachelor's program. So that was a lot of fun. I was involved in all the musicals and all the dance programs. I usually did tech. I was in the costume shop at one point in my life. Yes. Work study, and then I was switched over to tech because Uncle Daniel couldn't stand me anymore. And so I've touched on a little bit of everything at Dean College, which is kind of what I wanted to shape my career with. I started doing extra work during college. And then right after college, I moved to New York City to audition for shows and keep doing film work. I became SAG eligible. And then I switched tracks because I got an internship at Mass MoCA on their stage crew. So after that, I worked in the field development of taking care of traumatized youths while I was also auditioning. And then I landed a tour with the American Shakespeare Center and down in Virginia. Then the pandemic happened. And then after that, I went to Plymouth Pawtuxet, where I performed as a pilgrim for the entire summer and fall. So I learned to speak as if I came off the Mayflower. And then came back home to the Berkshires, where my current title is company manager at the Berkshire Theater Group.
Awesome.
And that is where I leave.
Thank you. Kelly.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I graduated in 2017. At Dean, I was a theater major with a concentration in acting. I had so much fun doing all the plays and working in the costume shop as well. Definitely recommend that if you can. And so for the musicals, I worked on costumes for most of them. I also started Speakeasy's improv group, which is still going. So do that and start your own groups too. That was like one of the most rewarding experiences, I would say, and one of the things that's helped most in post-grad life. After I graduated, I have done mostly theater in New England. I've worked for a number of companies, some of which all of them, honestly, you're all close enough to come visit and to get to know the people there. So come see me. Right now I'm working as an actor for Festival Ballet Providence, which is Rhode Island's premier dance company. I'm doing their show. I'm narrating Goldilocks for them, which is coming up in February. So come see me in that, self-promotion, but also start networking. So we've done a lot of theater. I've done some commercials, indie films. And then I really started teaching, especially in this pandemic. I teach physical theater for a number of the companies around. I also teach at theater and film and puppetry at an elementary school. And I also, something I'm really passionate about is teaching adults with disabilities theater. I work at a day center, teaching them theater there. And I am now also in training to be an intimacy choreographer for stage and film. I do a little voiceover. So much like everyone, I'm kind of all over the place, living the dream.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. And we are so happy to have you all here. And now I'm going to turn it over to Daniel. He's going to start the discussion.
Hello, everyone. It's so good to see you. If I get a little teary, just bear with me, okay? And it could also be the fact I was remembering Colin in the costume shop, and that was an experience. Anyway, Kelly, you were a heck of a lot more able than Colin, but thank you so much. I'm also so happy to see an alumnus from a decade other than the teens, Paul Ryan. Thank you so much, Paul, for coming here. Paul graduated in the previous century, Paul, and thank you so much for coming here, Paul.
You're welcome, Daniel.
I won't mention which decade.
No,
let them wonder. You're looking fabulous. Are you working on any? You're still in the city?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
No, I was involved. I had just before pandemic, I was in an off-Broadway show, but now I was unemployed, and so this past August, I was offered out of the blue an administrative support, really solid job with benefits and 401k and everything. And so I took it. So, that's what I'm doing now. I don't know what, I had never been so unemployed in my life. And I guess I got a little scared, and then this job came up. So
well, but you can do theater I'm sure
yeah.
when theaters open back up, you'll have your hand in some.
Oh yeah, and I mean it's just it's such a mess here right now, and I have lots of friends that are in Broadway shows, and some of them are fortunate that's still going, and a lot of them are not. So so I got a chance to have security, so I took it.
Enjoy it, sir. Enjoy it. Okay, guys, I'm going to pose a question because you guys know I love this, and these will be a variety of questions, and might not be all the same ones, so don't get cocky. Okay, Tyler Jahumpa. Tyler, what interests you in the field of theater?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Well, first off, when I think of theater, I automatically just go back to my junior year of high school, because that's when I participated in my first musical. We did Working the Musical over at St. Raphael Academy in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And I was like, I really like this. I got to learn so much. And then I started participating in theater conferences and start looking up monologues, looking at plays. So that bug kind of bit me back then. Mm-hmm. And then it didn't want to go away. When I got accepted at Dean, I was actually a communications major. And
yes, you were.
I was going to do 2 years of a communication degree. But then over at orientation, that all changed. And I decided that I wanted to pursue theater. And that's that's the ultimate blessing right there. So what interests me about theater is the fact that in a way I get to really tell stories. Some of them are happy, some of them are sad, some of them leave a person feeling something. Mm-hmm. And that is the most exhilarating thing in real time, because with different forms of media, like watching movies, soap operas, whatever it may be, game shows, those are things that you can often rewind and be like, haha. But with theater, it's a different way of looking at storytelling, because it's all in real time. Mm-hmm. So you can't really rewind that moment. It's just wow, I am experiencing this, and there are no breaks. So it's really
one of the first words I teach you kids is ephemeral. It's the ephemeral quality of theater. The ephemeral quality. There will be a test later on. Hey, Rachel, how did your this is a loaded question for me. Hey, how did your time at Dean prepare you for your present situation in life, child?
Oh, child.
Child.
Child. I think that the number one thing that Dean prepared me for, because luckily I am still acting and I am still working, is probably just the experience, to be quite honest, because to be a performer, it's one of the few careers that you can have that you don't need a degree in that thing. You can just get lucky. And what's that, the old Hollywood, I saw her on the side of the street and I said, oh, she has to be in my movie, one of those kind of things where you just need to be good at it. You don't need to have gone through a course or a degree or anything like that. So I think the experience in being able to have my hands in so many different pots of theater, with tech and costuming and makeup and stagehand work and performing and all of that kind of stuff, I think really creates a more well-rounded actor, because there's so much more you can do because you understand it so much more.
Okay, fabulous. I love that. Oh my God, this is a question I should have a martini glass and something else in my hand here, or maybe a cigarette or something like that if I was doing this. Griffin.
Oh no, I'm nervous now.
Yes, I would be nervous too. I would be very nervous. Hold on, I'm getting my props together. Griffin, knowing what you know now, how or what would you have done differently with your time at Dean?
Yes. Now that all of life's secrets have been revealed to me post
Yes.
Well, I mean, kind of going off, I guess, what Rachel said too, in having our hands in so many pots and really appreciating that well-rounded experience in the art that we got. Probably present me then would have been like, what are you talking about, man? I would have tried to maybe take some more business classes, because, the business side is, as a performer, you are your business, you are your best foot forward. So you really got to know those things in and out, how to advocate for yourself, how to navigate these tricky things. So I think maybe just being a little bit more on maybe not on the ball, but just like being able to take a little bit more of those things so that when I got out in the real world, I didn't necessarily have to do as much like scrambling to figure out some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess that's what I would say to that, really.
Okay, well, that sounds good. We should prep more, and we advise our students now to heck. I mean, going back to when Colin was there 10 years ago, we had maybe 24 theater students. We now have 100. So we encourage them to expand their opportunities here at Dean. Hey, Ryan Lopresti, way up there in New Hampshire. Ryan, what do you love most about your career?
I think the biggest thing for me is because I work specifically in tech. I don't perform at all, and so for me, it's a lot of that every day. I'm kind of doing something new. I'm doing something different. I never really know what I'm going to do when I wake up in the morning. And every show I work on is completely different. So every time I work on something, I get to do something entirely new. So it never really stagnates. It never gets, I'm never doing the same thing repeatedly, which is very good for me. It keeps it interesting, keeps it fun. It helps it so I actually enjoy what I do every day.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear you're going up to Ogunquit. I've gone up there. I have some close friends who live up near there. So hopefully I'll see you again up there this summer.
Yeah, let me know. I can get you some discounted tickets.
Oh, fabulous. You guys heard that. Okay. And because we had 2 graduates up there last year, and now I think one of them is still working there. The other one's going on a cruise ship. Maddie Alport is on a cruise ship. God bless him. God bless him. So anyway, hey, Mr. Mackey out there, I know that you're out there in the country, out in the Berkshires.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, I know you're talking to the birds, much like Snow White, and just But
sometimes
tell me,
we talk back.
What's the importance of networking for you out there?
Oh my God, it's everything, because you're constantly in a flux and a cycle of, okay, I just got this job. It's X amount of months long, it's X amount of weeks long. You're constantly knocking on doors. You're constantly running into people that you've worked with before that you might have had a great relationship with or not so great relationship with. So it's invaluable to always keep some people at distance, watch from afar, but always be your kindest version of yourself professionally. And always make sure that you're saying yes to things and that you're somebody who's dependable, because if somebody wants to use me as a reference and I want to use somebody else as a reference, that's going to be everything, because this is a very, very small world and it is a fleeting world, as I said, because your contract is going to end. And then that cycle is going to start over again. You have to audition, and there's going to be 6 people that and you saw at a different audition. So it's it's half the battle is just having a community of people that you can go to, because somebody might be looking for exactly who you are. And if you said the wrong thing to them or you snubbed them at one point, they're going to go, oh, well, there's 10 other people that look just like you. And for whatever reason, I'm going to go with them. So it's invaluable to have a good circle of people that you can trust.
Oh my God. You guys are sounding so mature. It's very, very, very enheartening to hear. Hey, Kelly down there in Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
How you been? How's it been with your career, and especially during these times of COVID?
Feeling myself getting emotional, Daniel.
Okay.
Well, because I guess before COVID, I was like going.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so thankfully, to kind of go contract to contract, as Colin said. And then it stopped, and I got like 2 of the biggest contracts of my career thus far, and both those shows were canceled. And I really had to do some thinking. And it's been hard, but I have been able to take more classes. After Dean, I went to New York and I studied at Atlantic Acting School, and I was able to go back to Atlantic virtually, and that was great. And I delved into Chekhov. I'm a big classic fan, so I delved into Chekhov like right off the bat, and more Shakespeare. And then I was able to, I also started a Shakespeare group in Rhode Island, and I was able to delve more into them. And then I found clowning, and I love to clown now. Like, I'm a clown actor now. And through clowning, I have more work. And I've also found a whole other group of actors who are new to the area and want to just make work and devise theater. And they're just a group of people I'm really thankful for. They have such good hearts, as do my other actor friends and theater friends in the area. Tyler, you know them. So and I was able to transition from like more day jobs to just teaching all the time, and I've been able to do this intimacy choreography. So I guess I've found so much more for my theater career actually than just kind of doing what I was doing, and it feels great being back on stage. But I have more people now that I can go to make things and make the kind of art that we want to make. And yeah, teaching more. I don't know, is this making any sense?
No, it's making total sense. It's making total sense, girl. No, because I think we're all learning how, I mean, I'm supposed to be directing a play, and it's been canceled for 2 years in a row.
I'm so
and
sorry.
So I'm hoping to have auditions in March. But I mean, Tyler directed me in a Zoom. You said it was the most perfect role for me, wasn't it, Tyler?
I don't know about that, but it was pretty close.
Yeah.
He directed me as God.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, I was God. I was an ironic
the one time I said, "Okay, Daniel, do your thing."
Well, you know, yes, Kelly.
Sorry, I feel like COVID has shown us that like nothing can stop you from doing what you want. Which, like, okay, maybe sorry, there's kittens running on me. Like, you know, like you can be an artist anywhere, anytime. And there's people out there who want similar things as you, and yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
very
also,
good. Yes.
Ryan said he has tickets. I have tickets for Octoroon at the GAM. I work there, so I have some comps and some $15 tickets. I teach for them, and I've done a show for them. So you all should come see that too.
And also just a general point, if any of you guys come to any shows, I can hook you up with tickets here at Dean, okay? Because I know people. Okay, I know people. Rachel, what are you doing to keep yourself up to date, Rachel? out there?
What am I doing to keep myself up to date?
Keep yourself relevant, up to date out there on the West Coast.
I mean, God, everything has changed so much since COVID, I guess, which is wild. But, I right now live in Portland, Oregon, which is a really big theater community in the sense that there's a lot going on, not necessarily the actual physical size of the city, but there's always something happening. And it's really, I mean, I guess to go back to Colin's question, it's really all about like networking and all of that kind of stuff, because it's one of those places where you go and you see people at an audition that you have seen at every other audition, or you see people that you've taken class with or something like that. So I think just truly being open and really being able to immerse yourself in whatever art community that you are in, I find is the most helpful to be relevant. Like I have gotten in the past 2 weeks, I've been cast in 2 upcoming productions without auditioning, simply because I worked with the directors before, which is great because, every part you get where you don't have to audition is like A-okay in my book, since I'm tired, man. This whole COVID thing is exhausting me. It's getting to the point. I'm over it. I'm 30. I'm old. I'm sick of this.
Oh, you don't know old, Rachel. Rachel Ladd, you don't know old. You don't know old. Please, I could do 30 standing on my head. How are you keeping relevant, Griffin, down there in New Haven?
Yeah, I mean, I just trying to navigate COVID, really. I've been trying to get friends together every now and then just to do like readings for things. I'm working on voiceover stuff. I'm really trying to break into that. I've been really fortunate after graduating to work with 2 fantastic companies here in the New Haven and Bridgeport area, Rebirth Arts Collective and Collective Consciousness Theater, which are both organizations that are devoted to doing work promoting social change and diversity. So right before COVID, I believe we were the first ones to do a New England production of Antoinette Nwandu's Passover, which was just on Broadway. A fantastic play. But yeah, I mean, just trying to find, auditions and classes and stuff. And COVID is so crazy because, one minute there can be an announcement for a show, and then the next minute it's postponed or canceled or whatnot. So just trying to keep reading, keep watching good TV, doing my own thing. I got an audition coming up for Vanya, Sonia, Masha, and Spike, which I'm pretty psyched about. So yeah, just, living the dream, trying to make it work day at a time.
That's all we can do. That is all we can do, is just keep it one step at a time. Ryan, what do you think the important qualities to have in your career are? What do you think?
I personally, I've said this for a long time, and I think I will continue to say this for probably the rest of my life. The most important thing, and this is in theater and out of theater, is really just to be a good person. Just be nice to people. Because I would 10 times out of 10 rather work with someone who is like not as good at the job, but is someone that I like to work with, than someone who is, a perfect worker, but is a pain in the butt. That's just not, you get more work that way. I've gotten job offers from people just because they know me and they know that they like me and they like working with me. Even if someone else who is potentially more qualified has applied for the job. Like it's so important. And that goes back to networking as well, where like, it's all about the people that you know, and you can know all the people, but if the people don't like you, then you kind of got a problem. Of course, being good at the job also helps. But if you are a good person and you're nice to people and people, enjoy working with you, that's the biggest thing in the world.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm gonna throw that same question to you, Colin. What qualities do you think you need to be successful?
Well, first of all, Ryan, that's a great point, because I can't tell you how many actors I've known, especially from the perspective of A, a tour manager, and B, a company manager, of, you know, my CEO or my general manager putting me in a position where I'm sitting next to some brat or some person who's very much a pill, and they know it. And then all of a sudden, that person, after their contract ends, they're not going to hear from that person. Happens time and time again, and it'll continue to happen. I think the biggest quality, especially from my perspective, is perseverance, because it's, the well runs dry, and then it floods, and it's the funniest thing in the world, because God, I've been on unemployment for months at a time, you know, especially when the pandemic hit. You're always transitioning, it feels like, but you can get your head in the clouds all of a sudden when you use all those tools and you use all that networking, because the bad times are always going to come, and you're always going to not get 3 parts in a row, and then you're going to be like, all right, doesn't matter, why am I doing this? So if you can kind of keep that head and keep focused on your goal and be persistent, like I've worked in every aspect and part of performing arts. I started my career, I moved to New York City, and I was sleeping on Rachel's floor. And it's where it starts. And I was working in Times Square, commuting 45 minutes on the subway just so I could get some stupid thing on my resume, just because it's easier to sell yourself because you're working as a character actor at a theme restaurant than, you know, at working at Target. So it's always about being persistent and having goals and kind of having that tunnel vision of like, oh my God, you know, I need fuel. I have to get this job. I have to have benefits. I have to do this in order for me to keep auditioning, in order for me to use these tools and keep networking. So it's about being persistent and sort of just not letting all the noise get to you, because people are going to judge.
Oh, I love that. Don't let the noise get to you. I love that, Colin. I might get a t-shirt like that. Don't let the noise get to you. Kelly, and this is, I want you guys to start thinking about something, because I'm gonna, when before we leave each other, I want you to get out your sage-like hats and give some sage-like wisdom on what would you tell the kids, the students who are graduating in this year and next year and the year after, and the ones that will look at that statue that they're building for me out in the quad next to the Christmas tree, and say, oh, there's old man Kozar. What words of wisdom, and this includes you, Paul, what advice would you give to the graduates? But I want you just to start thinking about that. Kelly, when your time here at Dean, what would you, knowing what you do now, what would you have done differently? Would there have been anything you would have done differently, Em?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I guess what would I have done differently? I might have tried directing more. That's very specific. I think I would have sometimes maybe reminded myself that it was college, and to explore more. Yeah, I don't want to say let loose, but I guess maybe that might be what I mean. But just like, I guess just engage more with the people I was with. Okay. And for networking reasons, I guess, but also just for, you know, learning more about good people. And same with faculty. I mean, I was definitely close with you all, but I wish, like, I would miss you all, and so I wish I had spent even more time talking to y'all. And I had one more thought. Oh, I wish I had gone and seen more theater, honestly. Yeah, like I wish I had gone into Boston more. We took some trips. And I'm very thankful for that, but I wish I had gone more myself. Granted, being a broke college kid is not like easy, but there's just so much, and like I really wish I had. I started auditioning like I started actually doing theater in the summers, which I recommend doing. But I guess I just wish I had seen more theater and gotten to know who the directors were, even if I hadn't met them, just like starting to know the ones in the area.
The ones in the area. Very
that
good.
would be my what I would do differently.
Very good. What do you love most, Tyler, now where the place you are at now? What do you love most?
Wow.
Other than having a fabulous girlfriend, a sainted
She's
girlfriend.
Yep, she deals with me. How? I don't know. One thing that I love hearing the most, and Kelly can attest to this, is here, because I'm in Rhode Island, the Rhode Island theater community is very tight-knit. So often once you like audition like here and there, like I'm in Pawtucket, I'm in Cranston, I'm in Warwick, I'm in Wakefield, like sometimes I'm seeing people that I am taking, like what Rachel said, taking classes with, had done shows with, and it's great because we really do take care of each other. With COVID, that really challenged us. I feel like one of the things from this past year was accessibility. How can we do what we love and spread doing what we love when we have to be so far apart? I got the opportunity to actually act on film, and that was for a production of Dancing Lessons by Mark St. Germain. I had to play a neurodivergent professor, but I still wanted information on about the autism spectrum. And there is a Spectrum Theater Ensemble, STE. So I was reaching out to actors over there and figuring out like how would this person tick or react to certain things. So we really were there for each other. That's definitely one thing that I would say that I love, is how quick everyone is on the draw to bring each other up.
Very good. Well, that's good to hear. It's good to hear that there's such a close community. Okay, guys, here it is. The question, or I won't say the question, but the advice. I'm going to just take you across the way. I'm going to start at my right, which is Mr. Colin Mackey, former Captain John Smith at Plymouth Plantation, weren't you? Yes.
Captain Miles Standish.
Miles Standish. Yes.
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 Rather infamous character.
Anyway, Colin, what advice would you give to the graduates of today?
Oh dear. In a ubiquitous sense, I would say drink less, study more, and be kind to everyone. That, from just my personal perspective, find out who you are and who you mesh with and what you love, but don't drink so much. Doesn't mean.
Thank you.
Study more, as in, there's a difference between cutting class to go to an audition and studying so hard with a monologue that like somebody stops you on the street and they want to hear you do a monologue. You can do Hamlet, or you can do your favorite anything, because that is what the most important thing is when you're auditioning. It's mostly you're selling yourself, you're being confident. So really learn how to focus instead of whatever else, because this is your time to do that. And be kinder to everyone, in the sense where we're all theater people. So we're all freaks and we're all weirdos and we all want to fit in somehow. I was like that in high school. When I got to college, I realized that, like, oh my God, people think I'm cool. Not cool at all. And then, you know, there's an impulse for you to start being meaner to the kids that aren't fitting in. And that sucks. And that makes you're perpetuating that cycle because it's such a small world. I'll touch upon that again and again. Everyone in the theater department should be a member of your family, whether you get along with them or not. There's some people in my family I don't get along with, but they're family. And so instead of deciding that this is going to be some cutthroat thing at your audition where you're judging that person who's been mean to you, it's like, it doesn't matter. We're all on the same team. So those are my three things. I would say drink less, study more, and just be kind with everybody.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Colin. You're the t-shirt guy today. You're the t-shirt guy today. Miss Rachel, whom I miss so much. Go for it, Rachel.
I miss you too. If I was going to give advice, I would probably say that everyone who is getting involved in the theater has to take a moment to remember to love themselves first. Because once you do that, and I guess I mean it in a layered way, that's when all of the good stuff starts to happen. Like when I love myself enough to look at myself in the mirror and be like, hell yeah, I'm a good actor, and like not let the BS, all the noise, as Mr. Colin T-shirt Mackey said, like get in the way. That's when I can go into an audition and be confident in myself. And those are generally the auditions that I book. I won the Iron Ryan when I was at Dean because I was like, I got this. You walk into a room and you be kind and you're a good person, but also be like, yeah, I'm the best one here in the nicest way possible. But you know, we're also in a community, like Colin said, we're all actors, so we're all freaks, but at the end of the day, acting is kind of an egotistical, you know, media to be in. So there are those people who are not going to be kind to you, surrounding you. So if you are able to kind of get all of that out of the way and get the ego out of the way because you're like, I'm good, I know what I can do, I love myself enough to know when to say, no, I won't take this role because it doesn't really fit my thing. No, I don't want to do this, but I will do that. Once you really take that time to realize your strengths and forgive yourself for your weaknesses, that's when you leave time for memorizing those monologues and perfecting your scenes and all of that kind of stuff. And it's very like woo-woo metaphysical kind of, but I really do believe that if you ground yourself enough to be like, yeah, I am worthy of these things I'm receiving because I'm working hard and I'm talented, I think that is when you are able to do so much more.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Rachel. Griff.
Yeah, I think Colin and Rachel really said a lot of great things there. And really quickly to that point, Colin and Rachel were two of the first people I met when I came to Dean. And I think they did a great job of welcoming me to the Dean family with open arms. So I want to
love you, Griffin.
Thank you guys for that. I love you guys so much. I miss you. Yeah, no, mental health, super important, guys. Like just in like everything in life, but especially with this crazy world of theater. Burnout can happen and it sucks when it does, but don't be discouraged. I mean, you just got to keep reminding yourself why you're here, why you're doing it, why you love it. And you know, this is a marathon, not a sprint. I love theater. I love that I can envision myself doing it for the rest of my life. And I'm sure we all can too, but it is a marathon, not a sprint. So make sure you are taking care of yourself. You're always learning, you're absorbing all the information you can, surround yourself with good people who can educate and teach you as well. And yeah, just remember why you're doing it. Cause this is the greatest thing in the world. And I'm so glad that I'm able to and choose to do it, really.
Thank you, Griffin. Mr. Ryan Lopresti.
Sure. I got two things. I want to backpack a little bit off what Griffin just said. Just that it's super easy to bring yourself out, just in that this is the thing that we love to do. It's so easy to want to take it home and have it on your mind all the time, always be thinking about it, always be working, always kind of be on it. But you got to kind of keep in perspective that it's still your job, it's still work, and it's keeping that separation of like personal life versus work life, and taking some time for yourself, making sure that you are allowing yourself to reset, recharge, be a human being outside of the theater. On top of that, I would also add in just like widening your perspective. I went on a tour at the end of 2019, and it just kind of like, because I had never really worked outside of New England before, and so you're getting to travel around the country and see a lot of different venues and a lot of different places. You can do this literally anywhere. Like the whole idea, when you're a high school student, especially in the Northeast, is you want to do theater, you got to go to New York, got to go to Broadway, maybe go to LA and be in movies, or go to Chicago and do theater there. But there's theater everywhere. You can go anywhere in the country and find tons of theater work, and it's all very legit. Like, you can have an incredible life living as well as you want to anywhere in the country and still doing this. You just got to know what you're looking for.
Very good. Thank you, Ryan. And from my two Rhode Island chicks, my two Rhode Island kids, Tyler, what advice do you have for the graduates?
Ooh, I got two. Practice. Like, this is like, how can I say this? Like, the moment that you like think that you're on top, guess what? Like, you can take off that cap and like you can exceed beyond that. So if you got a monologue, like, try something different with it, because the next time you bring it to audition, the director might find something new in that and might like that. And the second thing would be try something new. This year really challenged me. I got to play a lot more with social media, something that I thought I would hate, because people are like, you're always on your phone, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everything like that. But I ended up going on Instagram and being a content creator, doing a 30-minute segment talking about theater, of all things, talking about different Broadway shows, talking about their cast albums, and really enjoying it, doing that for like 52 episodes, now that I think about it. So that was really fun. So try something new.
Very good, Tyler. Miss Kelly, who I'm going to come down and see at the GAM.
Am I last?
Yeah, and well, we're gonna have you, Kelly, and then Paul Ryan from New York is going to give us words of wisdom, because he's sort of like the grand, I won't say old man, but the grand man of the theater, and he
yeah,
he graduated in a decade far away. But anyway, Kelly, tell me, what advice do you have to give to the kids, the students?
Number one, get a therapist. It took me too long. For all the reasons everyone said about putting yourself and your mental well-being first, but also because it's I guess specifically this is for actors, but I guess in any artist is like, it's just helpful to know yourself, to know which projects you align with your values and your schedule and you want to say yes to, and to know which ones to say no to. As an actor, you can imagine that how knowing yourself is really helpful. Therapy, recommend. Two, I would say, make your own stuff. Read a lot of plays, watch a lot of movies, and like find people. And if therapy is not an option, find people you can talk to and who will listen to you. In my experience, theater makers are actually like like kinder and far more supportive than I expected. So I hope that's all of your experiences as well. So just find those people that you are excited about and make stuff with them. Do solo work. Take a clown class. It's great.
She's into the clowning. She's into the clowning.
But yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, and just don't let. I mean, I feel like this is what other people are saying, but just don't let anyone tell you that you have to do something or that you can't do something, because you can. Yeah, there's like a thing going around that I love. It's like, don't let gatekeepers tell you you're not an artist or something. Yeah, and yeah, there's so much work out there. There is so much work. I think there's a huge misconception about there being little work, and sometimes it does feel like there's little work, but you can always teach something. You can always like get a mental health certificate and put that on your resume, so you can do mental health, so you can be like a mental health advocate on set or on stage.
Very good. Well, thank you, Kelly. Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you, Kelly. And Paul, how about you? What advice from your Olympian tower of being around?
You know, everything that everybody's been saying it's spot on. It really is. I guess what I would say to, you know, young actors starting out or wanting to pursue it, be careful of the traps. There's so many of them. One that I think is really just an awful one is don't fall into the trap of comparing yourself to somebody else. You know, it happened to me several years ago. I was outside the room to go in to sing, and the guy went in ahead of me and sang the exact same song, the exact same cut, and everything. And then I'm like, oh my God, what am, you know? But I didn't have time to change, so I just went in and I put the book down, and the accompanist, I said, hey, I'm gonna make this easy on you. You just played it. And but I asked in a class one time, I asked the casting director about that, and they said that doesn't matter because you're not going to do it the same way. So it's so easy to say, oh my gosh, I see this person, you know, getting, you know, we're the same type and they're getting the work and I'm not. And it's just a really dark path to, you know, that, and it's nothing's going to be. And what I have been able to get to a place as, you know, I believe this is a calling. Nobody would choose this. It's just too difficult. You know, I worked a temp job years ago, and one of the women I worked with, she said to me, tell me about, what is your life? And so I was telling her, and she just looked at me and shook her head, and she said, oh my God. She said, all you ever do is job interview. You are job interviewing all the time. She said, I can't imagine that. So, you know, the way I look at it, I believe it is a calling. I believe that is what God has called me to do, because I tried to stop it and not do it. I didn't want to do it. I was like, why? I remember saying to my mom years ago, why couldn't I have just been happy to go to Albany, into the state offices, get a job? And my mom looked at me and she said, you would have died. And I said, yeah, but I'd have had pension, you know, but it's true. And so the way I look at it now, before I go into an audition, I'm like, I've done the work. I've done everything I can do. And if it goes great, great. And if something happens, walk out of the room, don't judge. I've done that many times. Oh my gosh, I should have done this, should have done that. Now I'm just like, all right, God, you brought me here. I've done everything I can do. If it's mine, it's mine. And if it's not, it's not. Nothing I can do about making them. You can't make them hire you. You can't make them hire you.
That is so true. That is so true. So, guys, I cannot tell you how fabulous it was to see you guys. Thank you, Paul and Tyler, Ryan and Griffin, Miss Kelly, Rachel, and Mr. Colin, of course. We'll be seeing each other soon. But I'm just want to do what the kids taught me to do with the heart. I hope this is the heart. I hope it is, my poor arthritic hands, But anyway, God, Rachel, I've been sewing a lot.
It's okay.
Anyway.
I'm not here to judge you for your arthritis wrists. Your arthritis wrists are not what I love the most about you, so it's okay. It's all right.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming, and I'm going to throw this back to Thea and Jenna, and thank you guys. Jennifer, thank you so much. It was great seeing you all. And remember, God forbid I should say this, but stop by sometime. Stop by. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt to see you occasionally. Okay.
Daniel, thank you so much for moderating, and your answers were fantastic. Our alumni are just fabulous, and it's so great to hear everything that you have done and are doing and continue to do. It's just such a valuable message for our current students, our prospective students, everybody. So thank you so much. I'm going to hand it over to Jen for her final goodbyes.
Thank you, Thea. Daniel, thank you so much for moderating tonight's discussion. And thank you to all of our alumni panelists for your expertise, candidness, and time. It was truly a pleasure listening to all of you. I know your insight will help our alumni, it will help our students. We have recorded this tonight, and so we will definitely be sharing it with students and alumni. And if you're interested in connecting with a panelist, I'm happy to get you connected. So what you would need to do is to reach out to the Office of Alumni Relations at alumni@dean.edu, and we're happy to get you connected. We appreciate so much that you all came here tonight, and we loved hearing from all of you, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. And as Daniel said, we would love to see you on campus. So please visit, please stay connected, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you. Good night.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.